Hello, everybody. Very, very glad to be welcoming you here today. This is a new episode of the Reactor podcast, the podcast that focuses on creating profitable deep tech or impact or climate businesses. So, companies with big visions, big missions on this planet, but also here to make money. So, I'm really fond of I'm Jerome. I'm really fond of tech and sales, impact and climate companies. And I'm really happy to be sharing with you this new format of episode that will come from every interview that I have with founders. Today we're gonna jump right in a case study, and this might be something that you are familiar with, or maybe you are in this situation right now. I came in a meeting with a startup, and it was a solo founder with a bright idea. And he said that he was targeting four markets currently. Had no real clear offer for each of those markets. And what struck me with this is that first end I told him that there is no way that he can be addressing four markets as a solopreneur, solo founder. If you have less than 50 employees, you likely just have one market, one niche. So if you think you are in the situation where you're at the beginning, and you keep putting on your slides, in your presentation, in everything you produce, that you have 3, 4, 10 markets addressable, and then you plan on addressing them fully and completely, I want to share a tip with you, and I want to warn you that's not a good idea. And there is a niche where you can have a lot of value. A first niche when you can get a lot of money from, and it's not a restriction for you. Actually, if you find your niche rapidly, you make a lot of money because you learn one language. Imagine you say, okay, my target audience is in the medical industry, but I can also address the automotive industry and the chemical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. That's 4 industries with 4 different rules, 4 different codes, from different ways of purchasing items and other subcontractors, different languages, vocabulary they use. That's for you 4 times the efforts. And actually, it's not linear, because if you focus on those 5 markets at the same time, you're likely gonna miss opportunities. And also because you're gonna be focused on building 4 different products for 4 different types of customers. So first, focus on one market. It's hard enough to address one market very clearly and very smoothly. But then you're going to tell me, okay, let's get back to this example where you have 4 different markets: medical, pharmaceutical, automotive, and I don't know what I say, medical. How do you select it? And for this, I will use Mr. Ormozy, Alex Ormozy's formula. You take the 4 variables that really matters. So to pick your market, first identify where is the pain. Do your customer have pain in the area where you can have an impact? Is the market, second, that's the first one. Is the second question is this market growing? For example, if your market is AI companies, right now it's booming. There are AI companies all over the place. But if you are targeting newspapers, for example, this market is decreasing right now. So don't pick newspapers. Sorry. The third parameter that you need to take into account is, do my market players have money? Do they have the purchasing power to buy your product? For example, if you target right now people who lost their job, there might be a lot of people in this category and with a lot of pain. So the first 2 categories are covered. But category 3 is, do they have the purchasing power? And for example, when you take job people who lost their job, they might not have the money to be able to invest. For example, if you have a coaching or a training that costs thousands of dollars, no way. So that's the third criteria for you. Finally, the final step, it might be very intuitive, but still you have to find a way to contact your leads and your prospects. So they must be easy to find, or like the market you pick needs to be easier to find and address than the others. Based on those 4 criteria, there's more likely, there's a great chance there's only one market that will score very high on those 4 criteria. So if I summarize, the 4 criteria is the pain, then there is the growing market. So is it a growing market? Are there more and more leads of this kind of the prospect you were targeting? Do they have the purchasing power? And finally, are they easy to find, easy to access, easy to contact? And then from there, if there is a very fair and square tie between 2 markets, deep dive into each of the markets, and then you'll be able to say, in this market, the pain is higher than the other one, like a little bit higher. So I'm gonna drill down on this. But if you have like 2 markets in a tie, that's good, because you have 2 markets you can address, but address only one of them. Because one market, one message, one value proposition. And answer, like, what do you want your customer to accomplish? This is a very basic question that I usually ask deep tech and climate founders when I meet them the first time, when they dive into very technical jargon and very technical vocabulary. I ask them, what are you helping your customer to do? And usually the question is, I help this type of company, then advantage, gain time, reduce stress, gain competitive advantage and then you put your solution, your products. That's it. And usually this sentence is hard to make for them because they haven't picked the market. They don't know exactly from their customers' interviews what their main advantage is. So deep dive into it. Then when you have picked this for your market, you can say, okay, if I go and say, in the previous example I took, let's say it's the medical business. We're targeting medical companies and big groups, large corporation. You have to think about the value of your solution, value of the product, service, whatever it is. I love this formula from again Alex Hormozy. It's a formula where you have on top the value equals dreams outcome, so what your customer wants to accomplish and that you will help do, multiplied by the probability of you being able to accomplish this, divided by the effort and sacrifice that your customer will need to do if they want to implement your solution, and the time delay, multiplied time delay. Time delay is again at the bottom. So you want to increase dream outcome, probability of accomplishing the thing, and you want to decrease the effort, sacrifice, and delay. And what if you don't know any of this? What if you don't know it? You go and ask your potential customers. You're only gonna be able to see and guess it by talking to them. And there's no shame in talking and discovering market. Today is May 22nd of May 2024, and yesterday I was having dinner with a tech founder who actually started 2 years ago a company in the construction industry, and he will recognize himself when I say that. And he spent the last 2 years just building the company in his new industry, and then talking to a lot of people, just talking to a lot of different people in this construction industry that he didn't know anything of. And now he's building this new, game-changing tool, because he had a lot of interviews, a lot of surveys, a lot of late discussion with other constructions people, and that helped him really change his mind and validate or invalidate your hypothesis. The thing you say, I think my product is gonna help people do exactly that. Maybe not. Maybe not. One thing that you can do also is at the beginning, and it's not possible for everyone. I get that. If you're very, very technical, I will cover this just a little bit after. But the thing you can do for the customer, if you have a product ready, a prototype ready, or you're providing a service, try to work for free. If you are aware that your product can have massive impact, try to take 5 customers for free. And it's not free completely, because people will always give you time to test your product, to test your service, to test your coaching. They will always give you time as currency. Time is a valuable thing. And what you ask in counterparts is that they provide you with feedback, that they use the tool, the product, the machines that you produce. They give you feedback on it, and then they recommend people if they're happy with it. And so with this, if you have your first 5 customers, then already, if it's working well, there might be something that will happen if they're happy. Now your calendar is getting busy because you have 5 customers. If you get a 6 customers, you start charging for this guy. So you start charging maybe 20% of the price you intend to reach. And then from 6 to 10 you charge 20% of the final price, the hand price. And then what's happening with the first 5? If they want to continue working with you, you say, okay, that's possible, but now the solution is at this price, because we want to continue working with you and providing value, but so we start charging. And so with this, if they continue, now you have 10 customers paying 20% of the price. That's still revenue for you. So that's a great news. That's very great news. So you need to build up on that, and then after, from customer 11 to customer 15, you can charge in 40% of the price, and then 80%, 60%, 80%, 100, 200%, go up. And then all the customers that are still your customers, they will pay, they will pay for the product. There will be turnover. There will be people that will say no. They will say, okay, I stop the thing. I'm not interested anymore in purchasing this. But still, you're not gonna be able to fulfill them for free, and you will know from the user experience that your product works, that you do is valuable, because you're still getting new customers in. And so the old ones, they give you referrals, they give you feedback on the tool, they help you improve and penetrate the market. So still be thankful for them, be grateful that they exist, that it shows you at the early beginnings. So if they decide to cancel their membership or return the products or stop the products, whatever, the license, that's it. That's life, and it's okay as long as you're keeping the entry of sales higher than the exit. It's gonna be good. Finally, what I want to say is also, for example, if you're just a sign up for people who are doing, let's say you're doing a nuclear reactor, that you're doing, like a rocket, that you're building something very hard to build and that will not be built before 5 years. That's a very technical feature, very technical product. Then this is a different project. This project will require a lot of R&D, a lot of different pieces to be validated until it's feasible. So this is a different kind of project. So we're not talking really about sales for this kind of project in the early years of the project. Of course, you will need to think about sales, because even if you're building a rocket or satellite, sales needs to be at the forefront of your project, because otherwise you will never attract investor money. That's a topic for another episode. But, let's say you're building a super hard technical hardware stuff. You will be gaining trust from the ecosystem by succeeding, different tests on the, let's say, the nuclear reactor core module. And then, with this, you will reach a certain level of certainty. You will de-risk your technology. And that way, more people are going to be able to say, okay, I trust this company. And with this accomplishment that you might have achieved using public money, and that's fine, you will be able to say, okay, now let's go and see customers. And based on the projection, based on the results that we have, we are going to be able to say, okay, with our nuclear reactor, with our rockets, with our whatever, well, our, let's say, direct air capture machine, we're going to be able to reduce the amount of CO2 from the atmosphere by X%. And with this tool, you're going to be able to back your data with your later results. So that is different kind of companies. But so to summarize, on this episode, I was really focusing on early stage startups, less than 20 employees, man, even less than 50. But at the beginning, really focus on one niche, trying to find where the pain is, where you can have a lot of impact rapidly, because you're going to find people are willing to pay, suffering, easy to access, and it's a market, growing market where they can pay. And then from this market, you're going to establish, how much value you can bring to them, how much effort you're going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be able to solve for one type of customer, this problem very easily, 10 times better, 100 times better than the competition. And that's why they're going to be able to say, okay, we buy from you. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to this new episode. There was the first use case of a series of use case that I will provide to you, and all the things I'm learning as well as a sales person myself, technical sales profile. I'm really glad if you could just put 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoy everything, please don't hesitate to contact me on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you listen to this. And I'm glad, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.